The dark as well as the light power serves only one master, who is the creator of all that is, and whose goal is to create the superhuman. The final goal of human reincarnation is to create a human being who has experienced all imaginable positive and negative experiences, and therefore is able to develop beyond any judgment into the humanly incarnated image of God. A human being who has become God has lived through the completed range of the cosmic keyboard from the lowest to the highest note. God does not judge. He shines on his creations like a sun, on the flowers or the weeds, or on his being. The experiment of duality has come to an end, and the planet Earth is an ascending planet, onto which the Creator himself incarnates in the shape of human beings. The return of the ascended brotherhood from Lemuria and Atlantis is the return of the 144,000 masters of light, the cosmic monads. They are incarnated as human beings, united, and together they will represent the White Pyramid, God's eye, who sees everything, the presence of the Almighty on earth. They are the open witnesses who have all described from a different perspective the process of ascension, since they have already lived through it before.
What the?
You ever wonder why Jesus was born in a manger? Because this is the old spiritual allegory of astrology. The suns travel through the ecliptic in the 12 houses. This is when the sun is reborn after going through the winter solstice. Is right here between Sagittarius, the horse, and Capricorn, the goat.
This is an image of a Masonic seal. Here's the two pillars. They're not the same. The sun and the moon. The pillars were something that people were pointing out at my house that they didn't look even, but I'm thinking now they just don't look the same. So this is my house, there's the moon, and each pillar has 3 markings. From the front of the house, you can see that each pillar has the sun, sun rays, and the moon. Oh, and the top of our house is a triangle. But I'll get into that more later.
Has anybody seen this on CNN today? At 7:13 p.m. Pacific time, it says the firmament blocks raptured Christians from entering heaven today. I mean, it's hard to find the rapture inside of here alone. I think the rapture should be postponed, man, until further notice. I think that we should postpone studying the rapture and, focus on the Great Tribulation, because they got blocked today by the firmament.
Yeah, bro, sorry to break it to you, man. I don't think that happened. I think maybe you came across a meme or just a fake screenshot from CNN and accepted it as reality, unfortunately. Which no judgment, man. No judgment. I'm sure I do it all the time watching these videos. I'm sure I'm always watching shit that isn't real and trying to justify in my mind, like, make it make sense, which a lot of the time it doesn't. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that didn't happen, dude.
There's an interesting way of travel in Egypt, and it's not on a boat. It's in these. These are giant granite boxes. This one's in Edfu Temple, and it's a throne. The temple itself shows you how to use these boxes for solar travel. You don't enter the temple from your temple, the two sides. You enter the temple from the center. Center is the corpus callosum that links the two hemispheres together. So symbolically, when you link the two hemispheres together, you earn yourself a wedget. Wedget comes out of the third eye, the one that can see the snakes. The wisdom of the snake is the physics of vibration today. Now the box is on the boat because the box carries you through the wormhole. That is the boat. That boat sits on the vibrations of the microcosm, the atomic, and the macrocosm, the galactic. So how do you interact with all this? The physical layers of your body are what you're inhabiting right now. The nervous system animates this matter using a mysterious force that science will not recognize. Closest analog that we have would probably be plasma. That invisible body is called the Merkaba. Mer being the light wave. The Ka and the Ba are your individual expression of the entire spirit of the universe. Merkaba is the vehicle used to surf those waves like Kelly Slater. Everything is working in torus or donut form. Electromagnetic link is the stream or channel that's created by the earth and the sun. You're watching this video right now, you're on the shore, you're out of the stream. Into the stream means to get in a boat.
It's so wild how ancient cultures essentially created things as references to like our brain or our mind or just anything like that. Like to create like a temple that like represents the brain is such a crazy concept. Like it's literally like an artist's representation of something. It's insane. And in order to do that in a way to preserve the history is honestly just amazing. It's incredible.
Everything was designed here for a reason. The frequencies were designed for certain reasons. Let's talk about the sun. The sun is 5.9642 gigahertz. Add those numbers up. What do you get? 26. 26 in Gematria represents the divine. Then you go into water. Water is 100 terahertz. It represents, if you look at Gematria, according to the Hebrew alphabet, 100, because we don't count the zeros. It's 1. 1 represents the oneness of the universe. Your body is 70% water. The planet is 70% water. You think it's a coincidence?
In the document, it says there were 666,666 pyramids before the Exodus, and today there are less than 100,000, which is known, by the way. There are many pyramids all over the place. But why the 666,666?
The number 666 represents the number 18. 18, according to Hebrew Gematria, represents life. Earth's radiation is 7.83 hertz. Human beings, 7.83 hertz. Now, if you take 7.83 and add the number up, you will get the number 18. As you know, the number 18, again, represents life. Every number has a frequency. Every number has certain energies.
Also, 666 in the Bible, I believe it says 666 is the number of man. It's like I don't know where the number of the beast thing came from, but I'm fairly certain the Bible says that 666 is the number of man, or number of a man, something along the lines of that. And it's actually the representation of carbon too, which we are carbon-based life forms, because carbon consists of 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, and 6 protons, creating carbon, which is like all life in the universe that we're aware of are carbon-based life forms. So I don't necessarily think it's an evil thing.
They told us that we are never, ever to fly over that hole, and we are never to discuss it again. What is that about? And does that have anything to do with all these other pieces that keep emerging, that there might be something archaeological in Antarctica?
According to ancient astronaut theorists, this was not the first time a massive hole has been spotted in the ice of Antarctica. Famous polar explorer Admiral Richard Byrd allegedly reported seeing a massive entrance to an underground world during his 1947 expedition to the South Pole.
Admiral Byrd made a lot of unusual statements, allegedly talking about a large opening at the South Pole that went deep inside the Earth, ice-free, and was inhabited by various sorts of aliens.
What would happen if aliens attacked Earth? They would land in the west of the US and instantly begin their world domination campaign. Since the world would hear this pretty quickly, this will send everyone into panic mode and cause the whole world to finally unite and work together to beat the aliens. However, even with the United World Army, this battle would be impossible. Aliens would have special weapons and spaceships which would demolish the human forces and take their whole land. The only thing humans could do is surrender, but that isn't the end of the story. Since the Earth would be inhabitable for the aliens, the only thing they could do is make a peace deal with the humans and leave the planet.
The treaty stated, the aliens would not interfere in our affairs and we would not interfere in theirs. We were particularly interested that they do not interfere with anything that would affect our future. We would keep their presence on Earth a secret. They would furnish us with advanced technology and would help us in our technological development. They would not make any treaty with any other Earth nation. They could abduct humans on a limited and periodic basis for the purpose of medical examination and monitoring of our development, with the stipulation that the humans would not be harmed, would be returned to their point of abduction, that the humans would have no memory of the event, and that the alien nation would furnish MJ-12 with a list of all human contacts and abductees on a regularly scheduled basis, It was agreed that each nation would receive the ambassador of the other for as long as the treaty remained in force. It was further agreed that the alien nation and the United States would exchange 16 personnel each to the other with the purpose of learning each of the other. The alien guests would remain on Earth, and the human guests would travel to the alien point of origin for a specified period of time. Then,
not only is that absolutely insane to think about, absolutely crazy, but I absolutely believe that that is happening. That we have made a deal with some sort of extraterrestrials to allow them to study us for whatever reason, which is wild.
The scariest mythical creatures in the world. From Arizona, Skinwalker. From the ocean, mermaid. From Japan, Tic-Tic. From Puerto Rico, Chupacabras. From the ocean, CHTULHU. From Canada, Wendigo.
I didn't realize I was an AI voice until it couldn't pronounce Cthulhu. Oh man, that's funny.
Here's what the Bible really says about the apocalypse. Thousands of years ago, God destroyed the earth with water, but next time it will be with fire. Fire will rain from heaven, and the earth will melt with intense heat. However, the Bible reveals something even more shocking. It prophesies the release of the 4 horsemen who will bring death, destruction, famine, and chaos across the world, spreading fear and despair. Wars, plagues, and natural disasters will increase, signaling the approaching end times. People will be deceived by false prophets, and nations will rise against each other. If you believe we're living in the last days and the Bible's message is real, follow now and type Amen in the comments. Don't forget, Jesus' return is closer than you think. Amen. Now share this video with someone you love so God can protect them.
Yeah, I don't want any of that to happen, but all of that's already happening. So, oh man. I mean, can't we all just get along? Can't we all just be good to each other? Just be a nice person, help one another, not take advantage of each other, not be mean to each other, be realistic. I mean, that's the world I want to live in. I don't know about you, but we got a lot of work to do. Bro, just why? Why are you biting kids, bro? And here's the thing. Like, I get, like, you know, some people, like, do that with a baby. They're like, you know, just playfully, I don't ever want to do that noise again. But it's a playful thing. I get that. But, dude, Joe, you know the media is going to use it to call you a creep. So why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? Why you biting kids, man?
Alvin. Funny anymore, man. Dude. Shit ain't funny, man. Alan.
Yeah, I don't want to experience any of that. 0% of that would I like to experience. 0% of it. Oh, look. Oh, there. Now I did it. Now I did it. The comments are going to go fucking nuts because I just accidentally did the Illuminati symbol. God damn it. It's not easy being a conspiracy theory YouTuber.
What's the scariest story you've ever heard? This is Rhoda Derry, but before she looked like this, she looked like this. As you can tell, she was an incredibly beautiful woman. Rhoda was born on October 10th of 1840 to her 7 older siblings and her parents in Indiana. It is believed that her family was considerably wealthy. As Rhoda grew older, she fell in love with the boy next door. They were farmers that farmed right next to them, and she fell in love with this boy. His name was Charles. But Charles's parents did not agree with this relationship. The reason they didn't agree with this relationship was because it had been rumored that Rhoda's family was involved in witchcraft. This was a rumor that had plagued the family. They said that her grandmother was a witch, and so Charles's mother did not want him to marry Rhoda. It got to the point where Charles's mother finally approached Rhoda and said that if they went ahead with the marriage, that she would curse Rhoda. Suddenly, Rhoda became inconsolable, I guess you could say, and she even started having episodes of being pushed against a wall by an unseen force. This is according to records, of course. But she also grew violent and had a violent temper. It got to the point where her parents would take her to a mental health facility, but they would deem her uncurable and send her back to her parents. Rhoda would then go on to go to another mental health facility, and it was known to not treat its patients humanely there. Rhoda began exhibiting violent behavior, and she even would scratch out her own eyes and punch all of her own teeth out. She was also kept in a wooden box, and she would lay in there naked. It is said that it would fill up with her own fecal matter, and mice would lay nests around her, but she was constantly moving, so she always had bruises all over her body. And since Rhoda wasn't walking, she would eventually lose the ability to walk, and she wouldn't be able to use her legs, so she would just crawl around. Now, there was one article that said in 1906 she had a severe epileptic attack that caused her to burst out in violence, and the people at the hospital, or the nurses, were just sick of it, and they slit her throat. It is said that a couple years later, nurses would admit to doing this, but there's also articles that say that she was finally taken care of by a different doctor who believed in treating his patients humanely, and that she would eventually get to a point where she was given a bath daily and would lay in a real bed. But people who visit Rhoda's grave say that they can feel someone tugging at their legs, and maybe Rhoda is still there. Either way, this is a tragic tale, and it is a reminder to take care of your mental health and to treat everyone with kindness and respect. What are your thoughts on this?
What do I think? Nope. Absolutely not. It kind of sounds like she just had a psychological break, though. Like she just lost her shit one day, right? It could have been, I don't know, she came from a wealthy family. You know, she could have been treated poorly, didn't get the attention she wanted, dyed her hair purple, started calling herself trans. You know, that old story. But oh, I'm going to get some hate comments for that one. But yeah, it sounds like maybe she was schizophrenic or just had a psychological break and then maybe had like a seizure, made her immobile, in which case it's just kind of like compiling like issues, mental and physical, if it's even true. But that's very sad. All of that is very sad. And I hope that the latter is what happened, and she actually found a doctor that got help, because the whole after you know, a terrible life in a terrible hospital with terrible doctors and terrible nurses treating you terribly does not sound like the ideal way to spend the last days here on Earth.
Although the sudden appearance of this girl is startling on its own, it's what happens earlier that's by far the most baffling. Immediately after arriving to the second floor, its door, for some reason, begins to open and close while staying on the same floor. But even stranger is that a faint voice is heard inside the elevator.
Son of a bitch. Fucking hate jump scares. I fucking hate jump scares. Stupid shit. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. So hell is just a Diddy party. There's a bunch of people laying on top of each other, slimy and lubed up, screaming. Jesus Christ. It's a Diddy party.
Guys, this is a terrifying video from the dark web. It shows what I'll call Yahtzees from World War II in 1944 attempting to use some sort of, I don't even know how to describe it, dark power, otherworldly power, something along those lines. Whatever it is, it's terrifying. 1944, they lost the war. 1945. So you tell me what you think. I'll see you in the next one.
So obviously I don't know if that video was real or not. Who knows? Looked kind of not real. But then again, you know, who's to say? Who am I to judge? I will say, though, I know the so-called Yahtzees, as this gentleman so eloquently put it, to appease the YouTube gods, that Gandalf Bitler, we'll just call him, of the Yahtzee regime, was like adamant about finding ancient artifacts, Spear of Destiny, Art of the Covenant, all that stuff. Like, he wanted all of it. He wanted to find Atlantis. He wanted to find the secrets to the ancient Egyptian temples. Like, he was super into it. It wouldn't be surprising to me if they somehow came across that stuff, because after the war ended, America took all those scientists and all those doctors from the Yahtzees and brought them over here and basically let their war crimes go if they basically agreed to help us develop our technology based off of what technology they had. And I think the only way that that would make sense for us to even give a shit about what technology they had, seeing as we had superior technology, you would think, because we won the war, that they had access to ancient things, ancient knowledge, maybe reverse engineered ships and shuttles and things like that, that we wanted to learn from them. And then our technology, our military technology just went woo through the roof after that. So I don't know if this video was real, but I would not be surprised if something similar happened.
Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, Destination Fear. Led by paranormal aficionado Dakota Layden, the team faces several distressing situations at the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. Though not a singular moment, the crew stumbles into a few consecutive ones that keep even the most iron-willed viewer on their toes. The tension builds as Tanner and Dakota survey each floor. Eventually, they're startled by the unmistakable sound of a door creaking to a close.
What was that? What the hell is that? Dude, that was like a high squeak of like a door or something.
Following the sound, Tanner spots a cold mass on his thermal camera, alerting the pair that they're not alone.
What was that? What? Dude, I just saw a black mass. A black mass? Dude, it was like, I don't even know, it was just like a black circle. On your thermal or on your night vision? On my thermal. On the thermal. That means it's freezing cold.
What's worse, Alex gets a disturbing call from Tanner, except Tanner doesn't have his phone.
What? Tanner? What is that?
The team scrambles to find the prank caller to no avail, leaving viewers tantalized and terrified about what lurks in the asylum's halls.
Jeez, man. Even the asylums are trans these days. Trans-Lucretia, Moon Asylum. He didn't even have his phone. He saw a cold mass on the thermal. I'm kind of out of it today, man. I was up all night watching the election. I'm so tired. Drinking a energy drink here to make it through this video. Looks like piss. Looks like I'm drinking piss. I've been really dehydrated lately, so my piss is a lot more yellow than this right now. FYI. TMI. The Transgender Asylum.
This is Anneliese Michel. A real recording from her exorcism will be played at the end, so I'm just giving you a warning right now. Anneliese lived in Germany with her parents Anna and Joseph, and they were extremely religious. Anna had extreme religious practices like making her children sleep on the hardwood floor in the winter. It was her belief that others couldn't atone for their own sins, so therefore her children had to suffer on their behalf. Then, in 1968, when Anneliese turned 16, she began to have her first incidents. Anneliese would wake up in the middle of the night with a heavy pressure on her chest, and she couldn't breathe. She also couldn't move, and this incident would completely terrify her. Anna's parents would take her to the doctor where she was diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy. A few years later, Anneliese would get extremely sick with pneumonia and tuberculosis. Because of this, she had to spend weeks isolated in a sanatorium. This was a type of medical facility used before the discovery of antibiotics. When Anna got back from the sanatorium, her parents noticed that her personality had completely changed. Anna began to hear voices that would tell her she was damned to rot in hell. She would see demonic faces everywhere, and she developed an aversion to religious objects. She especially disliked crucifixes and pictures of Jesus, and she would not look at them. During this time, she kept going to the doctor, and they would give her every medication under the sun, which would quiet down the symptoms, but they would never fully go away. This is when people started to think that she was possessed. As things continued to worsen, the family finally got a priest to perform an exorcism, and at this time, her symptoms were terrible. Anna would throw herself onto her knees 400 times a day into a praying position. She would do this until she broke both of her kneecaps and ripped her tendons. She began eating the heads of birds, eating spiders, drinking her urine, and speaking in Latin to curse God. Latin is apparently the native tongue of all demons. Renz would perform a total of 67 exorcisms, each of them lasting from 1 to 4 hours. It was here that he learned that there are 6 demons possessing her. One of these demons claimed to be Lucifer himself. Now, quick warning, I've compiled the most insane clips from the exorcism, and here it is.
Im
Namen des dreifaltigen Geistes, befehle ich dir auszufahren und nie...
Holy shit. The power of Christ compels you. I mean, to be completely honest, it sounds like she had a really shitty childhood with like overly religious parents. I mean, they made her sleep on the hardwood floor and basically punished her because other people in the world sinned. And honestly, if I was to grow up in that environment, I would probably have an aversion to religious symbolism as well. I mean, I went to some pretty shitty churches when I was young. Like, I wasn't allowed to trick or treat or anything. My family was pretty religious for a long time. And I completely despised the idea of religion for a very long time. Just because it was just, my only experience was just terrible people, right? Just like not doing it right, just doing it incorrectly. You know, the opposite of what I thought Christianity should have been and still do. So to have someone like this extreme, her parents, I could see that, you know, just the abuse and the forced punishment just for existing, like probably creating some psychological issues, and then having a psychotic break, and then having an aneurysm or seizures or whatever, or being epileptic or causing more brain damage, and just like all encompassing issues that are just basically creating a bunch of mental health issues and physical health issues, neurological disorders that would lead to someone acting out like this completely. And maybe, who knows, maybe all of that makes it easier to be possessed. Maybe that she actually was possessed because she was vulnerable in those stages of, you know, poor and deteriorating mental and physical health. Or maybe she just had mental disorders, you know, neurological disorders caused by being abused and manipulated into, you know, feeling inferior just for being alive in that household, right? Like you're born into sin, so you are worthless. I don't know, man. I'm not very religious anymore by any means. I'm definitely not against religion, but I will say that that is not a way to go about doing it. I feel like religion should teach you love and compassion and patience and understanding and accountability, and not be some like fear mongering, like you're going to hell just because you exist. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that some people take teachings with good intentions and turn them into something that is just like completely self-serving and detrimental to the mental well-being of themselves or the kids or whoever it comes in contact with. Just, I don't know. Hate comments below. Go ahead. Send them. Give me the hate comments. That's right. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of that kind of religious teachings. So go ahead. Light it up. Light it up. But that's it for today's video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. It has been super awesome being back on YouTube with you guys. And I don't know why I'm beating the shit out of my desk while I'm emphasizing what I'm saying here. But Lucid Crew, you guys have been amazing. All my new subscribers that have been pouring in over the past couple months, you guys are incredible as well. Thank you for the support. There's a link for merchandise down below in the description. There's also my SoundCloud where you can listen to my original songs and some DJ mixes that I do. You can also follow me on social media. My Instagram, I just shit post a lot of offensive memes in my stories and post stuff about my life on there. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Subscribe if you have not already. Like the video, share it, all that good stuff. Comment if you had fun. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.